How's it going, friends? Welcome to another episode of the AI Show. My name is Seth Juarez. It's summertime here in Redmond, and the sun is shining, and there's nowhere I'd rather be than here with y'all. We have a bunch of cool things today that I'm going to show you. Well, not me, actually the actual people that build stuff. So how exciting for them to be here. Before we get started, where is everybody coming from? And while we're getting that, because there's about a 30-second delay between when I say something and when you hear it, I'm basically living in the past, friends. I know. I'm living in the past. Let's talk about what we're doing today. You know, one thing I haven't done, because remember my computer broke, and I'm using a laptop right now. I know. Is I haven't hooked up my Wacom tablet to this thing, so I'm going to have to write it by hand for today's show. Today, number one, that's a good circle. We're going to look at a real-world application of custom vision with Alicia, and plus Randy. That's at the right at the 8:30 mark, and then at the top of the hour, we are going to be talking about Azure Video Indexer, or AVI, as we all call it. Actually, no, just me. Showing some cool ChatGPT expansions, plus. ChatGPT integration. It's like a three-fer, that one. Three-fer. Edge expansion, and another thing that I'm going to leave as a surprise to you all. ChatGPT and Edge expansion. And there's like a surprise. We'll do like this. Yeah. So that's what's going on today. If there's any time left over, I need to do like a Friday like Twitch stream or something where I work on Rochambeau and get it to a place where we can like move forward and people can finally just, use it. Yeah. I found a way to use for multiple people to log on at the same time and play this thing with each other. So, yes. All right, where's everybody coming from? Let's take a look here. Let's get started. Hello, Balan. Let's get started indeed. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Hey, look, that's my title too. Morning, y'all. Simon the AI Simpleton. That's me. Seth Juarez, the AI Simpleton from Vancouver, Canada. Vancouver. It's just north of here, actually, where I live. Good morning from Israel. Inbal. We'll be talking with her at the top of the hour. And then Jay McCormick, hello, friend. Downtown Seattle. The Nigeria Delta State, welcome, my friend. Lima, Peru. A delightful place. So glad that you are here. Again, this show is all about understanding what we can do with AI, not the crazy stuff that people talk about in general, about how it's going to eat our children and stuff. So, yeah, it's practical know-how on how to do stuff. If you're a developer or data scientist, this show's for you. And so that's what we're all about today. So instead of spending any more time pontificating, I think it's time to bring on our guests. Stand by as we lower this music and bring in the background music here. Look at that. My sliders. Cuban living in Chile. Welcome. By the way, Spanish is so awesome. If you know Spanish, you can actually hear where someone's from. So it's pretty cool. All right, so let me bring up Alicia here and Randy. How you doing, my friends?
Good.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Or can I hear you? Hello? Hello? Oh, are they talking and I can't hear them? Oh my gosh, that's my fault. I can hear you now. Sorry. Go ahead. That was my fault. What I did is I have to, because I got a new computer, I have like a soundboard and I have to turn it, and I turned the wrong switch. And so now I'm like not hearing you because of my bad. How are you doing, my friends?
Good.
Fantastic.
I'm so excited to be here today.
Likewise. For those that don't know, Alicia and I went to college together.
Yes, we did. And it's fantastic that we've been able to retain the friendship. And I'm just so grateful for you, Seth. And it's just so inspirational to see your continued contributions to the Microsoft community and just growing over the years. So thank you for inspiring me.
Oh my gosh, that's
I know, right?
Look, I'm gonna tear up here. Ugh. I just want to say thank you too. That was like really ominous. I don't know why I played that, but yeah, Alicia and I graduated from the same college, and we graduated the exact same year, and obviously it was like 5 years ago. So
yeah, it happened.
And Randy, tell us what you do, my friend.
Well, I work at the LSU Ag Center, and we work with crops that try and grow more and better things for people to eat.
And see, right now, if you're watching, you're probably wondering, what do crops have to do with AI?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. And so what I'm going to do is, if it's okay, friends, would it be okay? Because we actually recorded something, I think it's like a couple days ago. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up here. I'm going to add my source here, add this video here, and I'm going to play it. And would you mind sticking around to answer some questions right afterwards?
For sure.
All right. So without further ado, here we go with what we recorded just the other day. You're not going to want to miss the next episode of the AI Show where we talk all about computer vision for digital scientists. Make sure you tune in. Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Show. We're talking all about computer vision for digital scientists with two special guests. And the coolest part, well, let's start with you, Randy. Why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name's Randy Price. I work at the LSU Ag Center, and we've been interested in newer things coming up called digital agriculture, and also goes with digital science. So
that's cool. Alicia.
Hi, I'm Alicia Moniz. Before joining Microsoft, I was an AI Microsoft MVP and got the opportunity to co-author one of the Cognitive Services books. And I'm delighted to be able to get hands-on with some of the new features in version 4.0. So thank you for having me.
And for those that do not know, Alicia and I went to the same school and graduated the same year. We are products of the same university. So I'm so glad you could be with us, Alicia.
Thank you.
All right, let's start with the problem. Randy, can you tell us what we're talking about today?
Yeah, what we're talking about is we got a lot of tools for seeing things in the field. You know, we can take a drone and fly up real high and make a map, and we kind of know where a bad and a good area is, but we just really can't diagnose it from that. So on the next slide, we'll show you where we can also take those drones and fly way down low to the ground. And we do this out in the field routinely, like all the time, and get really close-up images. Now, the next step is we either have to send somebody out there to, see what the actual problem was, or what we would like is some of the people who are good at AI and machine vision to build us some software that will analyze these images automatically. And things we're looking for are differences in color. We're looking for holes in the leaves, damage, and stuff like that.
That's cool. So that's what I was going to ask. What is it that you're looking for when you're flying over? Because obviously this is an agricultural problem, but as you're taking pictures, what is it that you're looking for, and what kind of alerts do you want?
Yeah, a lot of times you're looking for physical damage. I mean, when it comes to worms and some things like that and certain types of bugs, they will actually chew on the leaves. So you'll see that physical damage. Now, there's another thing we look at, and it's in terms of color. It isn't always how green it is. Sometimes we do like what's called an index or an indices, where we'll take a ratio of some of the colors. We found like green minus red is a really good one. And that tells you kind of how well the plant is doing biologically. You know, if it's low on like nitrogen or water or something like that, it'll get more of a yellow tinge to it. There's something called chlorosis, and you'll see that in some of the soybean plants we're going to show you, where it'll get like a real yellow spiny look on the leaf, and it's from lack of some nutrients like manganese or iron.
And that's cool. So it's basically software. Sorry, I'm hearing myself. You need software because there's so much of this agriculture, so many fields. The fields are so large that it's better to have a computer analyze these images and tell you where there might be trouble spots. Is that the problem we're looking at?
Yep, that's right, Seth. We have been working on a camera system that we put on a tractor, and there's some other people doing the same thing. We actually recorded a field where we recorded a high-res image of every plant in the field, 65 gigabytes of data in one time. So, you know, that's not that much. It's going to get bigger than that, but it's impossible for me to look at the 20,000 images that we recorded to find, you know, plants that have problems or damage. And we would like machine learning algorithms that could do that automatically.
I mean, and that's really cool, because now we're taking the problem of agriculture and we're moving it over to the digital space. So Alicia, how did you help him out with that?
So thank you. And it's been fantastic working with both LSU Ag Center and Dr. Price on talking through the use case and talking through possible solutions. And being the computer vision enthusiast that I am, I thought it would be a fantastic opportunity for us to walk through some of the new capabilities in the Vision Studio that was released, and walk through a little bit of Python code using Azure Data Studio, and we can go ahead and take a look at what the actual classifier looks like via customvision.ai. So as a refresher, or for some of our researchers who are attending who are not as familiar with the cognitive services, what we'll be talking about today is the custom vision service. So cognitive services will let you perform some predefined activities via the computer vision API. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to go ahead and create our own data set and use that to train our own classifier, and that'll be done via the custom vision API. So I've done this in the past for event detection. So it's both object and event detection, where what we're doing is we're trying to kind of ask a binary question, yes or no. Is something occurring or is something not occurring? Now, we can go ahead and try out these tools without any programming on our own via the newly announced Vision Studio. And if you go to the featured tabs, there's a remove background from images icon on the right-hand side, and that is what we're working with today. So Randy and I were looking at some of the pre-processing activities that is generally performed on the images, and we get better results from the images when there's a starker contrast between the colors of the leaves and the not having a brownish background at the bottom of the image. So one of the newly released features in Cognitive Services 4.0 is the ability to remove background from images. So I do have a bit of a notebook that I can go ahead and share with you to kind of walk through how that code looks like. And you can see that I've already created variables for my endpoint and key for my cognitive services. You can go ahead and install the Azure AI Vision SDK. And what we can go ahead and do is we can use a URL reference to the image, or we can pass the image locally. And here we're just sending the file to the image analyzer function within the SDK. So what this does is we've already created our cognitive service in Azure, and it's running and it's waiting for us to pass either an image or a text file so that it can return back the result set. So what this function is expecting is it'll expect a JPEG or a PNG file, and it'll perform the manipulations and it'll return back a file locally for you to continue processing.
So is this part removing the background currently, or what is this part doing?
Yes. So what this part is doing is it is sampling between pixels within the file, and depending on the contrast, it'll go ahead and remove the parts of the image where it's determining it's not part of the foreground.
Got it. So it's like a pre-processing step for doing other things in the custom vision. Is that right?
Yes. Most research and analysis that involves images requires pre-processing, just like we usually process for outlying data. Like there's usually some type of cleaning that we'll have to do against binary data. And the same thing goes with some of our image data. And, there really is an onus to go in there and kind of filter out some of the outlying information. And when we're building our training sets, we can take into consideration, what are the use cases that are likely to occur, and then prefer to use those for training versus kind of not as common use cases.
That makes a ton of sense. It's like pre-processing the data to make the actual task on the images, which is discovering challenges with agriculture, much easier.
Yes.
Got it. Cool. And now, once you do this pre-processing, what's the next step?
So the next step would be to build a data model that's able to kind of help us. And it's kind of interesting because when we look at bias, and Seth, I know we have been joking previously about, now everybody knows I have astigmatism. So sometimes when I look at variations between smaller items in images, it's a little harder for me to differentiate between color.
Right.
And when we have these types of human conditions that affect our perception of data or media assets, you can really see how having a computer kind of automatically make those labelings is going to be a lot more helpful than having somebody who, so for me, my eyes get tired in the afternoon, and maybe if I'm part of the group that's labeling and classifying the training data sets, I have higher accuracy in the morning and lower accuracy in the afternoon, and it's just because my eyes are a little strained by then. But if you have a computer that is able to go through and do the classifications, then you won't have that bias affecting some of these automated activities.
That's cool.
So what we were looking at is, so data augmentation is one of these new tools coming out that are really helping researchers to kind of expand their testing abilities. And usually we say, data out is only as good as data in. So you know what? Sometimes I'm limited by the data I have access to as far as what can I do research on. So data augmentation is one of those things where we now have a little bit more ability to create these scenarios. And our friends at OpenCV helped me with generating some testing images. And they took a few images and extrapolated using their software. And they were able to give me a kind of a range of colors for me to use so that I could build my 3 testing use cases. And then I could go ahead and use those to perform my quick tests against existing images that Randy and his team are collecting out in the field. So I can go ahead and open up that model, and we can take a quick look.
So as you're getting that open, you're basically creating new images that have different shades of colors to augment the data you're using to train your model and to test it. Is that right?
Yes, and sometimes we don't have data for all the use cases. So we'll have a set of data at our availability, but because we have a predefined set, we're really limited in gaining insights about that existing set of data. And this is a common issue or a challenge with machine learning algorithms is you get to know more about the data sets that you already have access to, right? So how do you build a machine learning model that is more inclusive?
That makes sense. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so what I went ahead and did was I established 3 different levels as far as the range of chlorosis, yellow chlorosis that the different colors were representing. So I did level 1, 5, and 10. And there's different things that you know, once you go through testing, you're like, okay, well, this might work a little bit better. And what I can do is I can go ahead and upload one of the images provided from the field, and then I'm definitely trending more towards the level 1. And the probability range is probably a little higher than I'd like it to be. So there's different thoughts that I've had as far as using the probability percentage to kind of help me build my range versus building the range by uploading 10 different levels of image variations, if that's fair. But right now we're looking at 3 tags for 3 levels and definitely trending more towards level 1, which would be the lowest. And looking at my training data set, the yellow might be a little overly exaggerated when compared to some of the field images. So I think that definitely affected my levels too.
Got it. And what did the levels represent?
Yeah, so it's common in scientific research for scales to be 1 through 10. Mm-hmm. So when they're defining problem statements, they try to create that unit of measure as far as if we're verifying a condition, what level of condition would that be?
That's cool.
So 1 would be green and 10 would be extremely yellow.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense. So once this is all figured out, are we just trying to figure out the yellow content in the images to indicate whether a plant is struggling or not struggling, or what is it that we're trying to find?
Yeah, so sometimes it is just that yellow color. Like we have some fields, we were looking at some yesterday and today that they had the yellow chlorosis in certain parts of the field. And, you know, sometimes it's as simple as just identifying how much area has that and doesn't have that. That was a field we were going to use for research. And then when we looked at it, we're like, maybe we don't want to use that one, you know, because of the difference that exists in it. and the next steps would be make a map of it, which these algorithms will help us do. And then hopefully we can treat that and treat it site specifically in the areas that need treatment. So,
and sorry, that's just amazing to me how we're using these drones to figure, and usually it would have had to be someone was walking and looking at all these leaves, and there's just not enough. There's not enough time to do that. Is that right, Randy?
Yeah. There's some farms in Florida that encompass like probably 75,000 acres. So just in order to drive to one side of the farm to the other, you could have an 1.5 to 2-hour drive. So the more you can digitize it and get it in a computer and get people to look at it, the better off we're going to be.
And that's amazing. Alicia, where can people go to find out more about this?
Yeah, so I definitely want to call out Serge Retkowsky's GitHub, and he has some amazing workbooks out there, and they're very direct and to the point, and you can get up and running with computer vision or custom vision very quickly. So definitely check that out. And customvision.ai has a really easy to use UI where you can go ahead and build your classifier, and definitely the Vision Studio. And I do want to call out that there are direct links to the API documentation within Vision Studio. So definitely look out for those links.
Well, this has been impressive. Thank you so much for your time, my friends.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you so much for watching. We're learning all about computer vision for digital scientists, a real use case that actually affects lives. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care. You're not. Oops, there you go. I pushed the button too many times. That was awesome. So here's a question I was going to ask you, Randy, and I forgot to ask, and I wanted to, and then we'll get some questions. Like, can you tell us a little bit more about the research that you've done and how it coincides with AI? Randy, that's to you. Oh, sorry, I have you on mute. Let me fix that. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Seth. Yeah, one of the things we're doing is we're trying to digitize a lot of data, because a lot of this AI stuff needs a lot of digitized real world data. And so we're currently, involved trying to do a lot of those aspects and trying to get, images of good areas and bad areas and a nice catalog that's built up. So I do want to mention, I noticed one of the, JR was talking about the layered stuff. We do layers, but a lot of times you got to realize some of these farms are 5,000 acres, and they're quite large. And if you try to do imagery for those whole farms, it gets hard to do even on a regular computer, that a farmer might have or, might be available. So, we do digitize that stuff when we have like shape files and stuff where they do work with layered data, but do realize working with imagery is a lot of data per file, and it's really still hard to work with that on mass scales. So like the biggest fields we're doing are nearly like 640 acres or so.
Yeah, and I was gonna bring this question up. I'm glad you brought it. And so what you're saying is that you could do layered imaging, but then it would be difficult to process all of that data in a good way. Is that what you're saying, Randy?
Yeah, usually we have to take a GIS system and you have to smooth, and come up with like, I'm going to make this remote sensing map, into maybe like 5 different levels with polygons, and that's what we end up working with. Now, do be aware, sometimes we work with that data and we kind of wonder if that's causing us problems. We'd still rather have as high resolution as we could, which is the original imagery. We just still lack computer resources to really do that on large scales. So
that makes sense. Now, Alicia, to you, how did you two get start working together? Because agriculture and AI seems like they're all the way in, but it's kind of a really good marriage.
Yeah, so it's been really fortunate working with Randy Price and Dr. Price. I work a little bit with the LSU system, and so actually I do have to confess, the LSU system is hands down my favorite system to work with.
Nice.
And the IT leadership there is very great to work with, and they've been embracing some of the newer Azure technologies, and I try to work with them as much as I can.
That's cool. And so what are we looking for in the future of this technology and agriculture? Randy, to you.
Yeah, well, we just hope to get the two together a little bit more, because I can go out and get field data where Alicia probably couldn't get that, and then she can bring to the table the programming, which I don't always have time or the skills to do that. So if we can get the two together, we could do some great things in the future.
Yeah, and I've always looked at like what artificial intelligence does, basically data crunching and then figuring out a way to make decisions on the data. It's like a glorified chart, but smarter kind of thing.
Yeah.
My sense is that there are so many fields where these skill sets placed in those areas are just going to do some awesome stuff.
Yeah. The other day we were looking at an application where we really just wanted to know the rotation of a tire, and putting all the sensors to even do that on a farm wagon's pretty tough. And I was like, man, if we had some AI people where I could just point my camera at the tire and it would count the rotation for me, there's all these little aspects that would help us so much. So
yeah, and I'm pretty sure that farming and agriculture is super important for us as humans.
Well, we like to eat a little bit, so
a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, one of my favorite pastimes. Anytime you're on a vacation, all you plan for is, what are we going to eat next? That's really all the vacations are. Well, thanks, my friends. It's been nice having you.
All right. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you for having us.
See you later. How cool was that? Okay, that was part one. We have a two-parter here with Inbal, who did some cool stuff with Azure Video Indexer. By the way, what'd y'all think of this? I thought it was cool. Oh, autonomous farming would be great. Yeah, it would. I will say that I met, and I forgot her name, preeminent research scientist in the field of robotics. She's really smart. And I was having a side conversation at like an MSR thing, and she was like, you machine learning people. No, she was very nice, but she was like, you machine learning people think that that's the solution to all of robotics. But the reality is, like, when you have to make things in the physical world with elements, robotics is quite hard. Like, we could do simulations pretty easy. You've all seen the simulations where robots learn how to walk, in virtual space. And it's like, is that feasible in real space? I don't know. But autonomous farming would be awesome. All right. Now for the next episode, I promised at the top of the hour, we would see a little bit about Azure Video Indexer. And we also had three things: edge processing, ChatGPT integration. And there was like a bonus thing in there. And Inbal is in Israel, and so she's not here, but she's here to answer questions. And so make sure to get those queued up. So without further ado, episode number 2 of a two-parter. Let's take a look at it. Let's go to it right now. You're not going to want to miss this episode of the AI Show, where we talk all about Azure Video Indexer with ChatGPT integration and edge expansion. Make sure you tune in. Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Show, where we're talking all about Azure Video Indexer with ChatGPT integration and edge expansion. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what you do.
So my name is Inbal. I'm Principal Product Manager of Azure Video Indexer.
Fantastic. So for those that don't know what Azure Video Indexer is, it saved my bacon a lot of times, incidentally. Tell us what it is.
All right. So in one line, that's the product of Azure of Video AI. And what it does is you upload a video, and then we extract more than 30 different AIs for the video and for the audio part of it.
So, I mean, So you're saying that basically I just upload a video and I get a bunch of goodness. Can you, I mean, you said it really fast. I feel like you're not giving it its due. Like it extracts the text, but when you say insights, what does that mean?
All right, so let me walk you through the story of Azure Video Indexer.
Okay.
Look at this set of customers that we have here. All of them coming from industries starting education, through media, through public safety, and all of them has multiple challenges of large media archive where they would like to extract the information of that video and be able, for example, to search for faces, for locations, for keywords, for topics, for objects, to understand the transcript of that video for multiple purposes, whether it's to run search, whether it's to make their video much more accessible, whether it's even to generate ads and place those ads in the right moments in those videos, to create new content, for example, for social media, as well as to moderate some of the content. So we run a bunch of AIs, really, really long set of AIs on top of cognitive services. And customers have the freedom to choose whether they would like to use our portal offering, like a web offering, or to take some pieces, we call them widgets, web components, and embed those components in your offering, or to go and use the ABIs.
Hold on. Can you go back one? Because I don't think people appreciate the number of actual, and this is the part that like drives me crazy, because we're like, oh yeah, it does some AI. It does a lot of different models on the thing, like down to recognizing who's in the video or that it's switched people. Am I getting this right?
Definitely. With a single API endpoint, you get more than 40 different AIs. Some of the output of those AI is used as an input for a different AI, and we actually work on both your audio track and your video track and are able to do kind of a multi-channel, merge this information to truly understand what's the content of that video in a single API call.
And that's the cool part. It's like I said, it saved my bacon a number of times just with getting transcripts, knowing when things have switched. It's really cool. Sorry I interrupted you. Keep telling us more about Video Indexer.
All right, so let's just focus on what's new. Remember that I mentioned those customers and their challenges. So we always look on the scenario of the deep search and the accessibility of those video libraries. Mm-hmm. And we're thinking, how can we make those scenarios better? Everybody knows Azure OpenAI and ChatGPT. It's super trendy in these days. So we're thinking about a solution that will integrate these two and actually would allow to do a better search and accessible scenarios. And I don't want to speak too much, just to walk you through the demo that will explain exactly what we've done here.
So before you go to that to the demo, now we're talking about the new stuff. You somehow integrated ChatGPT and edge computation, because this is all like, this is a lot of videos are pretty big and moving things back and forth. So those are the two things you're going to start to show us now. Is that right?
I'm going to start to talk only about the integration of Azure OpenAI and ChatGPT to improve the search experience. That's one. And then I'll show you another demo where we basically enhance our cloud native offering and also expand it to the edge. But let's focus first on the first announcement, that we're going to show you a code sample that everybody actually can download and try it yourself to be able to integrate with Video Indexer, GPT, and Azure OpenAI together to improve search and accessibility. And later on, I'll move to the announcement around the private preview of the edge offering that we have for Video Indexer. These are separate things. All right, in this demo, we're going to look how we can integrate Video Indexer with Azure OpenAI to make the content more accessible. Here you can see Video Indexer account where we have our video files with a transcript. We push those transcripts into the Azure OpenAI model to generate embeddings and keep those embeddings in Redis database. And finally, there's a web page where we can use to search through the content using Azure OpenAI search model. Now, here you can see my Video Indexer account using the portal of Video Indexer. You can see I've already indexed several videos for this demo, and these videos all contain a transcript. After I deploy the solution, this is the front end where you can use a search through the transcript. Now, let's just imagine I work for LinkedIn, where we have indexed a large archive using Video Indexer. And for this demo, we know that I've indexed several videos, and I know that these all talk about OpenAI. So let's start with a simple question. How is Microsoft planning to use OpenAI? And click on Elaborate to get more information. So I click on Elaborate, I get more information. And a cool feature is that I can also change the language. Let's say I want it this time on Dutch, and you get the response in Dutch. And let's give it one more try. Now we want to learn what percentages of the students are actually using ChatGPT. I get immediately an answer, 5%. I can click on Elaborate to get more information about it. And the nice thing here is that I can also link to the moment in that video where you can see the information coming from the OCR, which was detected on the screen, that based on it, GPT was able to generate the answer for this. So that's a code sample which is available for everybody to use. And if you just want to learn more, you can click on this link. There is a blog post with all the information there. Just download a code and try it yourself.
So this is cool. So basically what you've done is you've used Video Indexer to extract a bunch of information, and then you've done a pseudo RAG pattern, retrieval augmented generation, where you're embedding results from people's queries that send you directly to the right video place. Am I getting this right, or am I off here?
Exactly. That's exactly what we do. Currently, the demo that I showed you just focus on the transcript, but imagine the whole bunch of AIs which I've presented to you. This is also a multimodal approach where we are currently working on another code sample. Maybe in the next AI show, I will be able to show you this as well.
That's cool, because I mean, and when you're using OpenAI, you could basically search all of the goodness that's extracted from videos, and you can embed it. Like you might be able to say, hey, when did Seth say foo in this video? And you'd be able to find it because it's in the transcript if you add like the who said what, etc. I mean, there's a lot of potential here for this.
You got me right. And you have this code sample, just download it and try it yourself. Everybody can do it in his own video library.
Cool beans. So what are you showing us next?
All right. So the next thing is, remember those customers with a large media archive?
Yes.
Sometimes some of them, which has the eligibility, they have the API of running face detection. And in this case, this is Satya. I'm telling you a secret. But these customers may want to redact some of the detected faces. And for this purpose, this is another feature that we've added in private preview. We've already created another private preview release for you. So that's, again, my video library. I would like now to choose one of the videos where I would like, again, to redact the faces. So out of that video library, let's pick one of the videos that I have here. In this video, we can see it says Satya Nadella. And now what I would like to do, I would like to generate with an API call a new video, exactly the same one, just when Satya faces will be redacted. So for that purpose, I will use a Postman API. And you see that we have basically here 3 parameters that I would like to control. The low blur is the one that I've selected in terms of the different kinds of blurriness that we have. The second one is the ID of Satya. You see it says 1, 1, 4, 5. That's the ID of Satya Nadella's faces that were detected. And it says include because I want to include only that particular identified face and redact only Satya face. Now, if I run the API, it will give me a response. And after that response, I will be able to see a new generated video here in my library. And as part of this library, I will be able to play that video, the new video that was generated. It should be exactly the same one. I'll just expect that this time, Satya faces, as you see here, will be blurred.
So this is amazing. Where can, like you said, people, how do people get access to this if they want to try this?
To be able to get access, just reach out to us through this email and we will enable this on your subscription and you can give us feedback.
Fantastic. So you said you had 2 things, but you may have 3 things. I remember something about the edge. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So here's what we hear from our customers. Customers may have this nice native cloud solution with all the different set of AIs. But now the third announcement is around a private preview where we basically expanded also to edge type of use cases through the Arc platform. And what does it actually means? Let's take a look on this example. This is a real customer scenario. They have a lot of regions, some of them running on Azure, some of them running on AWS and GCP. And some regions actually have a Kubernetes clusters, and those regions are restricted. But they don't want to use different AI solutions from Microsoft. They say, hey, we have Video Indexer running on the cloud. Just give us the same offering also on the edge for these two restricted regions, or to run it through content that simply sit on a different IaaS. So for that purpose, we basically connected to Arc, which is a single platform that will allow us to connect those different regions and have a single video indexer running. And it doesn't matter if it's cloud or edge. If you have some restricted regions where you have to run the AIs close to your data centers, then now it's possible with the new private preview of Video Indexer. Today we have 6 different buckets of AIs. I show you the whole diagram, but these are actually the way that customers are looking on our product. And the one which is highlighted here is the first private preview where we took transcription, translation, and captions and actually ran those AIs on the edge. Now we are really, really looking to get feedback from the customers, and there is a link to the registration form, how you can actually reach out, register, and try it yourself. And it's exactly the same video indexer under a single product offering, just now also enabled for edge type of scenarios on top of Kubernetes clusters. Now, how does it look? Yeah, it is. It is. We've worked hard on it, and we're really, really listening to customer that says that they have a hybrid landscape, as I presented before. Now, let's give a quick look how the flow looks like. I don't want to talk a lot about Kubernetes and how it looks like, but the demo starts basically with creating a Kubernetes cluster. To simplify the process, we've created an installation script that you need simply to put here your subscription ID with a bunch of other parameters and simply get everything deployed on your account. So here I'm just running behind the scene that script that creates for me the Kubernetes cluster, the video indexer account, and all the information that I need. At the end, it said that it was running successfully, and I actually get a link to a Swagger API where I can either run the APIs or to the same video indexer. Look, it says hybrid. Now it has both cloud and edge extensions of video indexer. Just like, you know, from VI, I can upload a video. This time I take the video from my edge extension. I can give it a name like test for Arc, for example. I can choose here the language to optimize the AIs. I can click on upload, and this is actually running in the background. It's really unique. It's a combination of a cloud and edge offering under the same experience. Now you can see that the AI is actually processing, and you can also track the progress. Everything is done close to the data center of the customers. We're not leaving any data to the cloud. And now, after it finished, you see that the transcript and the captions and the translation, if you remember, this is the very first thing that we do for our edge customers, are actually available. So I can now switch the language, and in one click, I get all the information in a different language. In this case, it's Spain, and I can turn on the closed captions, and the closed captions immediately will be added. The streaming is done from the edge, as well as the AI processing was done on the data center of the customer. And that's actually something which our customers were really looking us to have for a long time, to have the same solution from Microsoft, from first-party AIs, now not only as a cloud native offering, but also running on the edge. And if you want to join the Arc Experience Azure Video Indexer private preview, please reach out to us through this registration form.
I mean, this is cool. So the AI processes are running, I'm guessing, on containers. inside of the Kubernetes clusters, but they're accessible through the Azure portal or the Azure video indexer portal as well. So it's like you have the same functionality, but it's on your clusters. Is this right?
Exactly. The control plane is done from Azure. From Azure, you create your video indexer account and you trigger the creation of the Arc-enabled video indexer extension, which is actually running and deployed on a Kubernetes cluster. The AI processing is happen close to your data, to where the data resides. But then from the cloud portal, from that web app that I've showed you, you're able to see the combination of the content that you actually prefer to run on the cloud because you may have no restrictions and no local regulations. But also you can go to any VI extension and run the AIs on the edge close to where the data resides.
Which is cool. And I know we keep saying that, but I feel like videos are big. And being able to run it on the edge is just absolutely amazing. So where can people go to find out more? What if they want to try this stuff out? Where should they go?
Basically, there is one click to go to Video Indexer trial account. You can see all those goodies that I've presented in the trial account. Specifically for the private previews that I've mentioned, you need to reach out. So let me just make a quick recap. The code sample is available for everybody. There's this blog that I've put here. Then the face reduction or the Arc enablement video indexer private preview, both you need to reach out to this email address or to submit a form with all the information, and then we will enable your subscription and you can work with us and share your feedback.
That's amazing. Also, for those that are wondering, there's some good documentation here that you can take a look at. And then the sample that you mentioned before, that's available. The ChatGPT integration is available here. Is that right?
Absolutely correct.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being with us, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. We've been learning all about Azure Video Indexer with ChatGPT integration and edge expansion. And there was a face blur in there to boot. Thank you so much for watching. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care. How about them apples? How delightful was that? I thought it was cool. Video is hard for people that don't know. It's pretty hard. And so the fact that we're running so many AIs over things. All right. So there was a question from, sorry, I'm so old. Jaime. Is it possible to run the interpreter mode on live or offline video? And Inbal responded with offline for now, recorded files, which is cool. I have seen other demos where you can actually do both, but it doesn't use Video Indexer. I would put things in Video Indexer though, because for offline type stuff, it's amazing. Wow, is my voice off? Okay. Let's see if there's any other oh, here's another one. Very interesting stuff. Yes, it is indeed. Videos are the new meta with Video Indexer. By the way, thanks for coming. Janice Q number 7. He's in Twitch and he shows up and he's like, hello. I did the wrong one. Hello. Is anyone here on Twitch? Hold on, I got a breakdown. I have a breakdown of how many people. Yeah, Janice Q's like the only one in Twitch, and he's like, hi, hello?
Hello? Is anyone here?
Thanks for bringing the rear up on that. How can I use ChatGPT to learn ethical hacking? You can't. How about them apples? ChatGPT has no brain. All it does is given a context window of n tokens, it returns the next m likely tokens given the n input tokens. It doesn't have a brain. It has no thoughts. It doesn't have any feelings. It's not gonna. I can prompt it to say whatever I want. That's all it is. It's a ginormous mathematical function with stored weights. If you'd like to learn about ethics, you should probably take philosophy. But I understand how folks think ChatGPT does that stuff, because it's just the absolute wide array of discussion points about ChatGPT. Let's see. Oh yeah, next Monday we're gonna. If you have some remembrances of some cool shows, I'm gonna put together a best of AI show this week in honor of July 3rd, which is before July 4th. So that's what we're gonna do for that. We have a couple of minutes here. And so what I thought we'd do just to finish up today is let me share my screen here and remind you that we have a cool GitHub community. I'm gonna zoom it. Zoom it. We have a cool GitHub community. If you go to community, you search GitHub community. This is the wow, can you not see the zoom its? Is it not zooming in for you? It's not zooming for you. How weird. Huh. Zoom in for me. Well, anyways, if you go to GitHub community on discussions, if you go to machine learning and ML ops, you'll see, wow, this is so tiny. I'll zoom in a little bit. You're able to go to this machine learning and ML ops discussion board, and I thought we'd make a new discussion. Whoa, I gotta turn on the we're leaving music, the walk-off music. I thought we'd maybe make a new one. New discussion. LLMs and LLM use cases. Hi, friends. I wanted to get folks' take on LLMs and what they've been using them for. This is so bad, my English. We're gonna fix this. Any fun projects folks have done that we should all take a look at? Wow, this is so bad. I'm gonna fix this. OAI, we're gonna fix this. This is so bad. So bad. I need to build this into Word, or maybe they're going to, and I don't know. I can't stand, like, I'm so bad at, it's not that I'm bad at grammar. You are an AI assistant. You are an expert copy writer and editor. You can take text and make it better, more readable and understandable. Okay, save, continue, and let's change this here. Can you correct this? Can you correct this to be better? Okay, let's see what this does here. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you. Start discussion. So if you want to go to GitHub and look this up, please do. But if you go to discussions and then go to machine learning MLOps, put your questions in there. Maybe get some links there. Oh, here's another one. Can you please send me a code example on how to make a fine-tuned model such as... Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess we could do that. Maybe we should, like, for our sample projects, try to answer these questions. But these are hard. Some of the questions that I've looked at here are like, please write the codes. I mean, if someone could do this step by step, wouldn't they just, like, sell that? Ooh, let's see what we got here. Yeah, so they're still looking for answers. All right, my friends, I am out of time for this week. It's been a privilege and a pleasure being with every one of you. The goal of this show is to help you get started with AI in a fast way. Not in a fast way, but in a useful way. This stuff, sometimes you just got to learn, and it takes effort, and you got to pay the price for the things you do. Next time on the AI show, we're going to have a best of, where we bring together a bunch of cool stuff that we've done in past shows with either ChatGPT, LLMs, or just standard AI models. Yeah, so make sure you tune in again. Thank you so much for watching and spending some time with us. It's always a joy and a pleasure to learn from every one of you. Make sure you tune in next week at 8:30 a.m. every week, 8:30 a.m. to learn about the latest and greatest with AI. If you have the latest and greatest, we'd love to hear from you. Make sure you reach out, and we'd love to get you on the show. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time on the AI Show.